right, so, well, let's start about talking about Outside Lands. You just played your set a couple hours ago. How did it go?
Well, really, really well.
Great set. Yeah.
It's ideal.
We had fun. I'm originally from San Francisco, so playing this festival was a big deal.
Yeah, you said that you used to play soccer here?
Yeah, I mean, like, we're on the polo fields right now. I used to have track practice in high school here, you know, like, it's crazy.
That's cool.
And this is before Outside Lands existed, like, I was always in this parks.
That's cool. Well, you all have been getting a lot of buzz lately. Did that add any pressure when you were performing, knowing that you were one of those bands people have been talking about?
No, I mean, there's always pressure.
Yeah.
Buzz or no
No
buzz.
more than usual. You know, we hold ourselves to a really high standard, whether or not people are talking about it. And you know, I think it's been great because we just come off of Lollapalooza last weekend, and we've been on tour, so we've been, you know, in a groove, playing a lot. And so, not that this is just another show, but that it helps. It helps when you're in a groove to be able to raise your game for one show. I don't know. It was easier that way. Yeah, exactly.
And you just played Lollapalooza. I was going to ask about that. Were there any major differences between this set and the one that you played there?
Sure, yeah, it was about 40 degrees hotter.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a lot hotter.
And way
It was
humider.
in the shade, though.
Which one did you prefer?
Yeah.
Which one was better?
Come on, you're gonna get another diplomatic answer out of us.
We
No.
like them both equally.
If you had to pick, if I said you could only play Outside Lands or Lollapalooza for the rest of your life,
The catering was better at Outside Lands.
You know, yeah.
you would pick the food.
I'm a native of the city, so I gotta say Outside Lands.
You are food men.
Yeah.
All right.
But my girlfriend was at Lollapalooza, so
Oh.
both of our girlfriends.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's kind of now we're back to the middle ground.
Yeah.
Can't do that. So how would you describe your music to a first-time listener or someone who has never heard it?
It is, you know, I don't know. It's always tough.
Yeah.
You never want to pigeonhole yourself, you know, when you're describing something. But, it's definitely, it's indie pop music. It's a little more experimental, I guess. Not like taking mushrooms in college experimental.
Although you could, I guess.
And as far as pop music goes, I guess it's like a little different.
Yeah, I've been saying electronic folk recently because I think that's like.
Someone called us junkyard pop. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's a good.
I like Junkyard Pop.
It's good.
Have you ever heard doo-wop punk? Because I thought that was another good one.
Doo-wop punk about us?
No, it's good. That's kind of like
Doo-wop.
West Coast a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have gotten a lot of comparisons from what I've been reading to, you know, Stars, and then a couple ones to Owl City and Postal Service Arcade Fire. Do you like these comparisons, or how do they make you feel when you hear them?
I mean, you know, everyone, myself included, like, when you're trying to, like, first introduce someone to a band, they're like, oh, well, who do they sound like, you know, and you're eventually, you know, someone's eventually gonna, like, have to name a band that someone else is familiar with. That's a great bridge, you know, to get to something else. The comparisons are really flattering, you know, but, like, I don't think we sound like them.
Yeah.
You should take a listen to it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's what it takes, you know, to get people like to hear our music and have like just a bridge to understand it.
Yeah. I think it depends on the context too. You know?
Yeah.
And if people are using it as a positive thing, like you said, as that bridge, then that's great. But if people are using it as a derisive thing to like steer people away from it, it doesn't seem quite as fair. You know, because it doesn't sound exactly like anything. It sounds a little bit like a lot of things. So I don't think it's fair to be like, oh, it sounds exactly like Owl City, people shouldn't like it. It's not really, that's not accurate at all.
You know, comparisons are good to help people understand, you know. Sometimes they can be, comparisons also made to be like dismissive or shallow, you know, which kind of just makes people, kind of reveals that maybe they didn't really listen to the record or something.
What we're trying to say is we only like when people say nice things about it.
Well, I wanted to talk about your debut, Weathervanes, and the record was released back in April. So how has the response been since the release?
Great. Yeah.
You've been happy with it?
I'm pretty happy with it. We've been, essentially been touring the entire time with like little breaks here and there, opening up for some great bands. And it's going well, and we're gonna kind of like mark our 1-year anniversary of touring, which we did. We started in November, and then we're gonna do our first headlining tour in November and do the whole rest of it.
I heard you just celebrated your 2nd anniversary at Lollapalooza for something?
That was the 2-year anniversary of the band. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. That's when Judah and Doris and Kevin first started playing together.
We got some milestones coming up.
Would you consider Weathervanes to be a concept album?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about what it's about for people who haven't heard it yet?
Yeah, I think so. Judah was dream logging a lot when he was writing the content of the album, and I think it's more than loosely based. It's pretty strictly based on a story of a boy in a house and his relationship with the girl, the now deceased girl that haunts that house. And I think if you know, the song sometimes subtly suggests that connection, and sometimes very overtly suggest it. But I think if you look at the illustrations that come with the album and you listen to the story, it's like it flows really nicely from sort of waking up and like becoming part of this house, and then it's being able to celebrate death and think about reincarnation and what comes next.
You should be a diplomat. It's very eloquent.
Thanks.
Well,
So
It's the beard. It like just makes it.
it's all the government debate courses I took in high school. I finally paid off. Thanks, Mr. Broadman.
can you elaborate on your songwriting process? I mean, well, you're all really talented musicians. Like, I saw you switched instruments a lot today during your set. So does that make it challenging to, write songs when you all can play so many different things and you can all...
It just makes it more exciting, I guess.
Really?
The songwriting process for this album was actually very studio-based. Kind of sit around in the studio and, like having the option to do 1,000 things and figuring out which sounds kind of work the best. And kind of doing that simultaneously while creating the live shows. So that's why we do so much switching, because we didn't really have a band concept formed. It was kind of forming at the same time as the album.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, do you have any final messages or comments for popculture.com, oh my god, I just said my website wrong, popculturemadness.com visitors, or for your fans?
Stay in school.
Damn it, that's what I was going to say.
Drop out of school.
Also do that.
Yeah. Don't go on Craigslist unless you're starting a band or trying to find a chair or something, like a cheap desk.
Yeah, chairs and bands only, no romantic partners, if you can avoid it.